Welcome to the Big Success Show. Today, what to do if you want to start a business but don't have enough money.
Big Success with the professor and Mary-Lynn.
Boy, Mary-Lynn, your title says it all, I think. So many entrepreneurs, we let ourselves be held back by the perception that we have a lack of money. And people sit on an idea waiting for years to get that money flowing, to get the money saved up, right? And so a better idea, I think, is just to ask yourself the question, how can I get started? Hi, I'm George Kruger, a.k.a. The Professor.
And I'm Mary-Lynn. A leading authority on this very subject talked with us on our podcast, episode number 962. Maria Aspen, author of Startup Money Made Easy.
And she found that the leading companies like those in the Inc. 5000. Now, these are the fastest growing private companies in the country. Those companies were started, she says, her research shows, they were started with startup costs far lower than what most people think or most people imagine. That these companies go on to be successful in spite of the fact they started with very little capital.
Here's what she told us.
There's one study that was done in 2008 that found that at that time the average business took an average of about $31,000 to start a business. Today, in our 2018 Inc. 5000 CEO survey, 42% of the CEOs told us they used less than $5,000 to start their business.
Isn't that amazing?
Tremendous.
Pretty incredible.
Pretty amazing, and it reminds me, Marilyn, of one of my best students ever. Without question, he's started a business. He's now exited, multimillionaire, did great. But one of the things he said is one of the most valuable questions I told him to ask was, can I start with no money? Or how can I start with no money? And just getting focused in on not accepting the fact that we got to start with a whole bunch of money. How can we get that amount down so that we can afford to move ahead without fear of trying?
Well, that's wonderful. It sounds like we can remove some barriers here. So let's go to the professor's whiteboard for 3 things to do if you don't have enough money to start your business.
I think if I sold all this stuff, Mary-Lynn, I'd have enough money to start my own business.
Well, let's work on that.
All right.
All right.
You'd love that, wouldn't you?
All right. So number 1 on the whiteboard is save your own money.
Yeah, and so how can you start saving if you're not saving already? How can you start putting away a little bit of money to start a business, for example, or to make a new move in your career or something like that? How much do you need to save? These are questions that you want to look at, but the key thing is to don't just accept that it's got to come from other people, which I think is what a lot of people assume. I got to raise money from other people. No, those other people are going to want to see you're invested. Every banker I know, every venture capitalist I know, they always talk about you having skin in the game. So this can be hard to do. There's no question about it. But how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to start your own business? If you want it bad enough, you're going to find a way to do it. It's all about prioritization.
Number 2 on the professor's whiteboard, reduce your startup costs.
Yeah, so can I find ways to reduce how much I need? That's the question to ask yourself. And I'm reminded, Mary-Lynn, Jimmy John, who you may have heard of his sandwich chain. Jimmy John talked to my class a couple times, and I remember him saying that his dad said he would invest $25,000 to help Jimmy get his first business going.
Nice.
And Jimmy,
very
that's
generous.
nice, yes. And but it was below the average for that time, as we just heard from Maria. But the thing is, he wanted to start a Chicago-style hot dog place. And
so he did not want to start a Subway
He did not want to start. Right there's a lesson we could do a whole show about, right?
Right.
But no, he wanted to start a Chicago-style hot dog place. That was his goal, his dream, when he got this money from his dad. The problem is, once he got the commitment from his dad, he went and started trying to figure out, okay, how much is it going to cost for all the things to get this hot dog place up and running? And what he found out was it wasn't $25,000, it was closer to $50,000. And so he went back to his dad, and he told his dad the situation. He's like, "Dad, I can't do it for $25,000. I need $50,000." And his dad, very astutely, said, "Well, no, son, you have $25,000 coming from me. I don't care if it costs $100,000. You've got $25,000 coming from me. You got to work that out." He worked it out, and we all know the rest of the story. I think he's pretty glad today he didn't start a Chicago-style hot dog place.
But the reason that he made this shift was because it reduced the cost.
Right. He went and visited another. He went with a friend, and they went to, I think it was Philadelphia. They went to Philadelphia, and there was this Subway sandwich shop that was just doing business like crazy. And Jimmy's like, well, I could do that, and I could do that with a lot less equipment than it's going to take to do the Chicago-style hot dog place. So I really just lowered my startup costs immensely. Hey, let's try this. And he tried it, and with a lot of hard work, it worked out pretty good. I think he's now a billionaire.
That's an amazing story.
It is.
So you never know that by reducing your costs, you might end up with a better business idea.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Well, and actually, Mary-Lynn, that raises a great point that sometimes it's about twisting the model. And, I could go on with example after example about all this stuff, but sometimes, just a slight shift in your model even greatly lowers your costs and makes it so that it is affordable for you to move ahead. Keep in mind, our goal here is really, it's not so much that we're trying to start up with less money. It's that if we have to use less money to get started, we're taking less risk. There's less to lose in case it doesn't go the way we hope.
Great point. Now we'll move on to step number 3, 3 ways to start a business if you don't have enough money. Number 3 is find a partner.
Yes, find a partner. Now, not any partner. Find a partner that has money, right? I mean, if you're going to literally have to lay out hard cost money, then find a person who's willing to do that.
Would there be some risk now? Because, if I partner with somebody who's got the money and I don't have the money, do they have more leverage than me when it comes to the company? Can they kick me out and I'm the one with the idea? How does that work?
Well, it all depends on what you agree to. And keep in mind that when you're dealing with this, you're kind of starting with a blank page. It's literally blank. And you have to figure out the terms. But like, for example, there's an angel being a person who, that's a name for a person who invests in businesses. I say that because in today's lexicon, it's pretty well known. But there was a time when you said angel and people just thought of me, frankly.
That halo that's over your head. Oh, yeah.
No, I know, Mary-Lynn. That's what you saw, but
It's angel investor.
Yes. And the thing is, people, 10 years ago weren't really familiar with that term. Now it's becoming pretty commonplace. But like this guy he owned restaurants most of his life, and he was very successful in the restaurant business, and he wanted to help young restaurateurs get the same opportunity he had. So he would cut a deal with something like this. So, starting with a blank page, but he'd done enough of these deals that he could kind of say, okay, here's a formula that works. You and I will agree on how much salary you get to take out of the business. The less salary you take out, the better you're going to be. And you'll understand that here in just a second. So, just cover your costs so that when you're at work, you're not worrying about money. But then what we're going to do is we're going to split the profits 80-20. I get 80%, you get 20% until I've got all my money back. When I got all my money back, you get 80%, I get 20%. And if you ever want to get rid of me, want to buy me out, we'll talk about the price. There's the deal. But it allowed people to get into business. Yeah. And keep in mind, he's very aware the restaurant may fail. I may lose my money. And the entrepreneur's not putting up in as much money, if any. And, they're not losing as much money. But you're also losing a lot of time, and there's a lot of sacrifice there besides just money. So we got to think about all the currencies involved in this. But this is just a great example of how an angel and an entrepreneur could work together to start a business in a very friendly way and a very potentially prosperous way for both people.
All right. So the goal of today's podcast was to help you if you're an entrepreneur and you're wanting to start something, but you're thinking this lack of money is going to hold you back. Today's show hopefully has given you some inspiration and motivation. Let's review the professor's whiteboard. 3 ways to start a business if you don't have enough money. Number 1, save your own money. Number 2, reduce your startup costs. And number 3, find a partner.
Very good. And Mary-Lynn, successful entrepreneurs are absolutely masters at minimizing risk. And 2 of the ways they do that is by reducing the need for money or sharing the risk with others. In other words, it's the second and third points that we made today. So don't let the lack of money keep you from starting a business. Let it inspire you to get creative with your funding. That leads to big success.
The greatest risk of all is not following your purpose. Our free life purpose quiz can help. Get it today at Big Success, that's big with 2 G's, success.com. And join us next time. We're going to share Rich Dad, Poor Dad's 10 steps to get rich.
And we can't thank you enough for listening today.
Until next time,
Here's to your big success.
Find big success at biggsuccess.com.